What's up, everybody? It's your boy Zach coming to you from My Freedom Smokes, here today to just do a little informational video on how to choose the right e-liquid for you, which obviously starts off with what you like, what tastes you're into, what makes you and your brain happy. And it really breaks down into two different kinds of e-liquids. Well, I'd say three: tobacco, fruit, and bakery flavors. And then you got some flavors out there that mix the fruit with the bakery flavors, like Milkman, which is like a strawberry cream, and you got tobaccos that also bring in some bakery flavors and some fruit flavors, like you got black cherry tobacco, black honey tobacco, RY4, which is a vanilla caramel tobacco, which is one of my favorite e-liquids. But for me, I'll just give you an example of my setup and what I like. I like bakery flavors. It's what I've liked since I started vaping. There's a ton of really good fruit flavors out there, but I can vape them, but not really for long. I always end up going back to the bakery flavors. My favorite e-liquid of all time is Earl's Crack Butter, which is a toasted nutty peanut butter flavor by Mr. Vape Inc. on the Cloudwalkers line that we carry here. My second favorite flavor is also a bakery flavor. It's a cinnamon roll flavor called IDK, which is also by Mr. Vape Inc. on the Cloudwalkers line, which we sell here at MFS. Those are a max VG line, which is another thing that comes into play when you're choosing the right e-liquid for you, is what setup are you using. And if it's a sub-ohm, normally it can handle a high VG. But for people out there that like the Ego style, or the like T18 or the T22, stuff like that, that are high ohm coils, you're gonna want a nice PG-VG ratio around like 50-50, 50% PG, 50% VG, or you're gonna want even higher PG for some of the really high ohm tanks with not so much airflow. But for me, since I like max VG, which y'all know if you've seen most of my videos on like e-liquid up, e-liquid me up. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. That's why I stopped for a second, so I could, okay. Most of y'all know I'm a high VG guy myself, which you've seen on Flavoring It Up, with my alternate personality, Bubba Drip. I'm that high VG guy, I guess you could say. So for me, I like the Vengeance tank, which has a 0.2 ohm coil. So the ohm of the coil means that it can run a high VG, and I like running it at around 70-80 watts, which is enough power to burn through max VG e-liquid like the Cloudwalkers line. But if you like fruit flavors, there are a lot of fruit flavors I've noticed from other lines, like Cosmic Fog, they got a lot of fruit flavors. Space Jam, they got a lot of fruit flavors, and they're like a 50-50 line. Fruit flavors, for some reason, just seem to be good with some PG thrown in there. Not saying bakery flavors don't, but it just seems like more PG e-liquids out there have that fruit flavor. So if you're into really fruity stuff, then maybe maybe a high ohm tank with a high ohm coil would be good for you. But if you're into fruity flavors, there are also max VG fruity flavors out there. If you're someone that likes to drip, if you're someone that likes to run high VG, if you're someone, if you're someone that likes to run low ohm coils, there are fruit flavors out there if you want to throw them in a tank. Like Psychedelic, which is a Skittles flavor, also off Cloudwalkers. That is a high VG juice, fruity stuff. If you like the candy flavors, there are a bunch of candy flavors out there. Most that I've noticed are Skittles. But Philip Rock also has a Skittles flavor, which is, I believe it's like a 70-30, which is still pretty good, but it still is a little thicker, so you want to run that in a high VG tank. So really, it all boils down to what you're vaping, what fruit flavors or bakery flavors or tobacco flavors you like, and what kind of device you like to run. Tobacco flavors, a lot of people start off with tobacco flavors. There's nothing wrong with that. They're good if they're trying to get off smoking. They want something that lost myself. Tobacco flavors are good. If you like tobacco flavors, nothing wrong with that. I like an RY4. But I'm not really into like the special blend or anything like that. But when you're getting off of cigarettes, people like tobacco flavors because it's something that they're used to. I always recommend starting off with a tobacco flavor if it's what you're used to and if it's what you want. But later on down the line, I recommend trying to get into bakery or fruit flavors just because you're going to get your taste buds used to that. you're going to want to get your taste buds used to something that isn't tobacco. If you like tobacco flavors and it helped you get off cigarettes, stick to it. I know a lot of people that still vape tobacco flavors that haven't touched a cigarette in years. It's just nice to get your taste buds used to a completely different flavor, so you don't really have that thought of cigarettes in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, this tastes like apple pie. This is amazing. Why would I want a cigarette? Cigarettes don't taste like apple pie, But and that's what I got going on in my Juul, a nice tobacco flavor, which they have. It's their tobacco, but it seems to me that with this high PG, high ohm coil that's in the Juul, tobacco, it seems to taste. It's good. It's nice. It's smooth. It does remind me of a cigarette with the pull and the taste of it, but it doesn't make me want one because I've been vaping bakery flavors and fruit flavors for about 2 years now because I haven't even touched a cigarette in a little over 2 years. So yeah, I guess overall, the right e-liquid for you comes down to what your taste buds like, what makes you happy. And then from there, you can go ahead and be like, okay, well, I want a fruit flavor. What am I using? I'm using an Ego. I'm going to want high PG. And also the nicotine is another thing that you want to take into consideration when you're choosing the right e-liquid for you. If you like a high nicotine, like a 12 all the way up to 24, 32, 48, whatever, a lot of juice lines don't really go up that high. So I know like Cosmic Fog, I believe they stop at 12. Space Jam, I believe, stops at 12. Cloudwalker stops at 6 because when you're vaping low ohms, you're definitely not going to want a high nicotine because it's just going to tear your throat right up. And that nicotine buzz is something that's probably going to knock you back. Okay, so I'm about to wrap this video up. I'll go over the essentials again for the right e-liquid for you. What taste you like, bakery, tobacco, or fruit. What PG-VG ratio do you like? What nicotine level do you like? And what device you're using to determine on what PG-VG ratio that can handle. And then if you find a line that you really like, but it stops at 12 and you like 18, maybe think about knocking that nicotine down a little bit, I'm at 3, I started at 18. It's great, I love it. But yeah, once again, I'm Zach, coming to you from My Freedom Smokes. I'm your best friend, your vape guru. I hope all you beautiful people have a great day.